Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Out, 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 out. Previously in the Dolo game series, here on our 50 defense account 416 hero, we resumed doing Slayer as part of our road to max. We picked up a Tormented Demons task, well, a Greater Demons task, and we decided to do Tormented Demons as we're lacking 3 more synapses between the two accounts. We'll see where Slayer takes us. Because we have a bunch of Gothixian Temple teleport scrolls, we don't actually need a Sapphire Lantern. We skip over that part by Tears of Gothic, so that's +1 inventory space, and instead we can use these scrolls, which should be able to not only sustain themselves, but profit if you stay here long enough each trip, so that shouldn't be an issue. Now, I guess I'm just gonna chill, find one of these side rooms. Not too worried about fighting multiple Tormented Demons at once or anything like that, so yeah, this will do. As I arrived, I realized I don't have a Book of Dead for Thralls, but I think I'm okay with not using Thralls. That's just going to be extra prayer and rune consumption. I think we're okay. We're going to deal enough damage. And our first TD in a long while. We get teleports right on cue. 2 of those bad boys. Let's actually take a look at the collection log for Tormented Demons. I believe they fall under Other. And then if we scroll down, Tormented Demons, you can see we have a green log. We have 2 Tormented Synapses on this account and 3 Burning Claws. Yeah, that's right, 2 Tormented Synapses. I think I only got 1 on the collection log on the other account. Because, as with most things, Tormented Demons was actually new content by the time it came around when I needed it, but I was playing on this account. I always have to forget something, right? So obviously these being demons, they drop ashes, and I do have the Ash Sanctifier now, which I forgot to bring. But I guess if I manually scatter the ashes, I'm gonna get a bit more EXP, so just a little extra effort, but for more prayer EXP. Teleported out and did a birdhouse run, but as we returned to Tormented Demons, we are actually at 1800 Tormented Demons on the spot, or on the dot, and we have 2 Tormented Synapses and 3 Burning Claws. Speaking of the Burning Claws, it's definitely a very good DPS spec weapon here, but I think I'm going to value the Saradomin Godsword for the sustain more than anything else. The drop rate for a Torment Synapse is 1 in 500, so I guess we're actually unlucky on those bad boys on this account. Unfortunate. Unlucky in general. I imagine I definitely did more than 500 on the other account. Every Tormented Demon KC is well over 1000 Slayer EXP, which is absolutely nuts. So if you're working on Slayer as a relatively new Ironman these days, Tormented Demons are going to absolutely fly you through all those Slayer levels. The only downside is that you're not going to give yourself chances at superior monsters for the Imbued Heart. But there we go, that is 89 Slayer. Unfortunately, that does not unlock anything. Next level, we will unlock a new Slayer mob though, but not at 89. But yeah, the only downside to farming Tormented Demons for much of your Slayer progression is that you're not going to give yourself chances at superiors. But obviously, Tormented Demons do offer the Tormented Synapses as well as the Burning Claws. The Burning Claws are pretty good DPS spec weapon alternative to all the other things that are only available down the line. And then obviously Tormented Synapses are very, very powerful. You get your hands on that, you can do Sire, you can do Doom, you can do Yama, which only leads to more goodies. Obviously, there's an element of RNG involved because the Tormented Demons do occasionally drop a smoldering pile of flesh or gland, and I believe there's one other one, but basically their supply drops. So flesh is for HP, gland is going to be for prayer, and there's a third one that escapes me right now. But when you get those, it extends your trips quite a bit. But also in general, I'm getting more comfortable with this again, and yeah, we're not going to need quite as much food, but we can definitely pack our inventory up with more prayer potions instead. On top of that, because I'm using the Saradomin Godsword comboed with the Lightbearer, really I can just be spamming the SGS specs and I can do pretty long trips here. Also, I'm not even bothering to flick right now, so that's another factor. That could also extend the trips as well, but don't think I want to be staying here for too long. A whole different day now, and wait for it, we're going to start off with a farm run real quick. Now for these limports, there's nothing I can do. I'm just going to continue like I've always done and just note them with the tool Leprechaun. But with the acquisition of the silk-lined herb sack by way of Sarachnis, honestly, considering how many herbs this holds, I think up to 100 of each individual herb now, as oh my god, that would happen. But yeah, I think using the herb sack is actually very viable now instead of having to run to the tool leprechaun every time. The size of the herb sack, especially if you do different herbs, is definitely going to be enough. In the middle of a birdhouse run, we're doing some fletching, trying to get that in, and we managed to get 92 fletching. I think that's pretty massive, I want to say, because that is going to be... Well, never mind. In other news, we just got a magic longbow off of the previous KC, and that would be relevant for people that don't have the fletching level to actually make a magic longbow unstrung, because you need this to turn the Tormented Synapse into a scorching bow. But if you have your hands on this magic longbow unstrung drop, you only need 74 fletching. It's just a weird situation where the requirement to make a scorching bow is actually lower than the requirement to make a magic longbow unstrung. Tormented demons just have so much health. They're 600 HP each, which is part of the reason why, you know, it's like 1000 Slayer EXP per KC. But yeah, it is so slow. I think at best you can get like 50 to 60 KC an hour, and being that we're 50 defense, we're definitely not achieving that. So yeah, we're gonna be here for a while for this task. We started at 216 and we're down to 164 now. And keep in mind, we're not using Bracelet of Slaughters or anything like that. Yeah, we're about 25% of the way through. About 80 KC into this task so far, and unfortunately no interesting drops. I'm pretty sure in the past, the last time I was here at Tormented Demons, I said I would probably end up farming the remaining synapses on the maxed account just so it'd be quicker. Kind of forgot about that, and I'm just now remembering. Yeah, I don't know. On one hand, this is great Slayer EXP, which I so desperately need on this account. On the other hand, yeah, being maxed with max gear and, you know, no restrictions, all the prayer scrolls and all that, probably would make a pretty significant difference here, because I was just thinking this KC of 216 on the task, that's going to be like a 4 to 5 hour grind just to do one singular Slayer task. Heading back in for another trip, and each trip so far is about 20 minutes long, pretty much using an entire divine ranging potion. And I gotta say, I'm pretty reluctant to keep going, but it's gotta be done. It's gotta be done. This is good EXP, and I need the synapses anyways. Feels like I'm barely making a dent into this Greater Demons task, but it's time for a birdhouse run. I very much look forward to this one to break up the monotony that is the Tormented Demons grind. It's definitely strange because Tormented Synapses are such a huge drop. For any Ironman, like, getting a Tormented Synapse changes your account drastically. It opens up so many doors for you. But I guess that's probably the reason why I'm not that amped up for it, because I already have access to everything. These are just extra quality of life synapses that I need. I mean, maybe I need one more to get my Ember Light back, but besides that, any more is just quality of life so that I don't have to trade back and forth. On another note, I've been making a point to fletch whenever I'm doing the birdhouse runs, and it actually does really add up. I mean, recently we hit 92 fletching already, right? And yeah, it's actually a good bit of EXP, as I'm missing one redwood log. That sucks. Less than 100 Greater Demons on task to go now. I'm going to take a bit of a break from Tormented Demons, do a couple of TOAs, and see if we can get lucky. I say lucky, but I do feel like we are actually due for a purple, so let's see what happens. Alright, we have swapped over to the maxed account, wait for it here, and we're going to do TOA on here. I've mentioned this in previous videos, but I'm doing TOA on this account. Really, I could do them on either account, although on 416 Hero, we lack the yellow Karis, so I would have to run a little bit lower invocations, probably like a 350. We're currently running a 400. Now, what we're really after here is the Missouri body and the Missouri mask. Everything else, honestly, we don't really need. We have 2 shadows already, we have plenty of fangs, plenty of light bears, and the ward is of no use to 416 Hero, but we also have plenty of those. What this account is missing is the KC capes as well as the pet, so that's why I'm more inclined to do runs on this account. On top of the fact that, you know, this account is just stronger. But we do need to get around to getting the gems on 416 Hero at some point. KC 636. What are we gonna get? I really feel like this is gonna be a purple. I'm gonna milk it a little bit. We are gonna run though. Super zoomed in, we can't see keys on the side, and it's a white light. Any regular goodies though? Oh boy, a dupe thread. 299 dragon dart tips, that's pretty fat. Okay, second run, we're running a duo. Did drop the invocation by 50, so now we're running a 350. But honestly, with the TOA changes they made quite some time ago, it doesn't feel as worth it to push high invos anyway. So 400 is really the highest I'll ever go, I think. And then if I need to, I'll bump it down based on who I'm playing with or how I'm feeling. Okay. I'm not gonna milk this one. Let's just go ahead and see, because this is 100% gonna be a purple. Just kidding. Please. The lag is pretty bad right now. Dude, I clicked! Okay. I deserve a purple for completing that raid with like 2 billion packet loss, bro. Come on. We're milking this one. We're milking this one. Come on. Dude. What did I say was the last purple? Like 623? It's so sad, man. Late night and I'm trying to sneak in a couple more TOAs. I really feel like there's a purple coming in. But before we can do that, I'm actually completely out of surge potions, so I'm going to make a couple more of those. I just started a raid with the Amulet of Chemistry equipped. Dang it. We don't have an Ultor. I mean, Rancor. I'm going to have to finish this room and reset. This is why I always de-equip everything and then re-equip. That time I didn't, and I just tried to re-gear quickly for TOA, and it did not work out in my favor. Okay, we have the right amulet on this time, an actual PVM one and not one to make potions with. Oh my... Bruh. In the previous days, we tried to do some TOA, but those sessions were not that great. So, I'm back at Tormented Demons here, and I'm trying to finish out this task and see what our next task is going to be. I think, though, I know it seems like I'm giving up pretty early, but I think... moving on, once I finish with this task, I'm not even going to bother with any more Tormented Demons on this account. It's just way too slow as is, so I think in the future I'll pick up the synapses I need on the other account, and then we'll just exclusively do interesting boss tasks or Barrage Slayer from an efficiency standpoint to get to 99 Slayer on here. So to keep things simple, we'll only track the KC that I have on this account. This account is the one I've primarily been using to farm Tormented Demons anyways. So in 1950 KC, we've only had 2 synapses. Now keep in mind these synapses are a 1 in 500, so yeah, we're approaching 2x rate on the synapses that we should have. We should be getting close to our 4th one, but we haven't even seen the 3rd. Unfortunate, really. There's still 54 left on task. There's a chance we might still see another synapse, so we'll see what happens. It is that time for another birdhouse run. Again, ever since getting around to building out the POH to its bare minimum on this account, I've been doing birdhouse runs a lot more frequently, which is good because I was severely slacking on them. I said the game plan all along was to do birdhouses all the way to 99. We are on what should be our last trip for this Slayer task, and we have a birdhouse run to do after this as well, so we'll be sure to do that. But let's take a look at our collection log here. It actually does showcase the total Tormented Demon KC we have on this account, which is currently 1993, and yep, still the 2 Tormented Synapses, so we can actually confirm it by way of the collection log. And yeah, just unfortunate, but I'm very much looking forward to being done with this task. And finally, we are working on the last Tormented Demons of the task. Can we get a Tormented Synapse on our way out? We get Fire Orbs instead. Well, let's go see what our next task is, and then let's also do a birdhouse run. And the next task is 140 worms. Not exactly the most exciting, but it's a pretty easy task to do with either a lance or a scythe. Well, we're not going to be using the lance on this account, but yeah, we're going to go ahead and knock that out. And of course, another birdhouse run. And our next task is going to be... Oh, I forgot I picked up this worms task, I'm not going to lie. Well, we're going to go do this worms task. We are heading to the worms now. So with the worms task, there's a couple of methods you can do, and this isn't even the only location where you can do this task anymore. Back in the day, sure, but now there's some wormlings in the Peerless Moons area, and it wouldn't surprise me if there was some other location that I didn't know about either. But we're going to come here because with the scythe, these regular worms should be no issue. I'm debating whether or not to pick up these bones though and actually bank them or just bury them as is now. I might just do that instead because the worm bones aren't worth too much prayer, but I guess over the course of a task it could add up. So with these worms, I'm just going to be protecting mage and then scything them. They do melee on occasion and we are going to tank it, and I'm curious to see, am I going to end up taking a whole lot of melee damage being 50 defense? Or are these things low enough level to where it's not even that bad? And then once our prayer expires, we're going to swap into our Eclipse and Missouri. Yes, not Blood Moon, because we do want a little bit of mage defense instead. We are on the standard spellbook and we are high alching. These guys do drop a good bit of high alchs, as you can see. 3 KC, 3 alchs available already. So we're off to a good start. But yeah, this task shouldn't take too long, and there's another adamant two-hand on the ground as well. Very nice, very nice. But yeah, I guess I'll be just burying these bones as is. I also do have the SGS, extend the trip a little bit. But yeah, this should be a pretty fun task, actually. Another day, another birdhouse run on 416 Hero. Now after this birdhouse run, well, you can see that I have my Guardians of the Rift Robe of the Eye set on. And yeah, I'm going to be parking this account back at Zaya for some soul rune crafting again. I'm a little preoccupied with some other accounts right now for the next couple of days. So with that being said, I'm just going to continue trying to get EXP on this account while I can't really actively play on it too much. We are still in the middle of that worms task, but we should be able to get that done pretty quickly once we're back actively doing Slayer again. But for now, we're 91 rune crafting, 419k EXP to go to 92. And as for Slayer, 292k until 90 Slayer. And this time around, I am bringing my fletching supplies. It's -3 inventory spaces, but you can see that there's so much running to do here while runecrafting. It's going to be worth it. We're going to get our fletching levels up as well. And that skill is currently 92 fletching. So yeah, a lot of our stats are actually getting up there. A lot of them are in the 90s. Except, I guess, woodcutting, herb lore, and of course defense, right? Oh, and there's sailing, but at any point in time, that is also a giga AFK activity that we can do by way of salvaging, so I'm not too worried about that. Alright, we are doing a spur-of-the-moment Calvar'ion trip. Let's just see what happens. First KC of the trip, some coins. Second KC, and just like that, we're at 5,800 KC. Very roughly, we last left off at about 6.4x rate for the Voidwaker Blade, which is, by the way, the only thing we're missing here at Calvar'ion. I would hope so, right, being this deep into the grind, that I'm not missing multiple items. That would be really, really tragic. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I don't know how long I'm staying. I just realized I didn't have my salve on. I do have a couple of switches right here because I do plan on trying to anti-PK whatever PK might drops in, just to spice things up a little bit. And in talking about that, I just realized I'm on the wrong spellbook, so I'm actually going to dip out and fix that real quick. I'm on Ancients, but I need to be on Standard for Entangle and Teleport block. I think most anti-PKers are going to run Vengeance, but I feel like if I cast Tele block on one of these PKers, they might get spooked. That's the game plan anyways. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Out, 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 out. That was KC 5,815. We fucking did it. Oh I was not prepared for that. I was standing at Fair Rocks. There's a bunch of people yapping over there, and I was looking to clear the chat here. I think they were like fighting or something. I was not paying attention. Oh my god. Okay, I've sat around for a few minutes just to cool off the excitement a little bit. Here is the collection log. KC 5,815 plus 38 Vedion kills for what it's worth. We have 3 pets, all from Calvar'ion. 9 Ring of the Gods, all from Calvar'ion. 12 Dragon Pickaxes, also all from Calvar'ion. We tried to get a Dragon Pickaxe at Calfight Queen, and if we just glance over at the KQ collection log real quick, we have 1,100. Yeah, none of these Dragon Pickaxes are from there, or any of the other bosses. Now, going back to the Calvar'ion collection log, 20 Dragon 2 Hands, most of them, I'm not sure how many, but most of them are from Calvar'ion. 8 Skull of Vedions. I know for a fact I did get one when I went to Vedion, which was really troll. And then, of course, finally, the Void Waker Blade. So we are green logged with that. Now, I just gotta say, typically when I'm not streaming, that is, I don't really get like an audible reaction. I get a drop, you know, maybe my eyes go wide a little bit, like light up a little bit. I pick up the drop and I get out of there, right? But this is probably one of the few drops I got where I'm just late at night right now, sitting in my chair by myself in my room, and that was my genuine reaction right there. I mean, you know, obviously it wasn't like a crazy pop-off reaction, but like I said, I generally don't really have a real reaction like that. Also, a few clips ago, I mentioned that I'd be parking 416 Hero at Zaya while I did other things on other accounts. No, this Calvar'ion trip was not what I had in mind. This was super spontaneous. I'm just gonna go ahead and leak it now. You know, I'm not sure when I'm releasing the series, starting the series. Maybe it's already out by the time this video comes out, but I am working on an Ultimate Ironman. I have a lot of footage recorded. I'm just trying to find the right time to start it, and that was my plan. I was going to spend some time playing on that account. Also, just to date the content a little bit, by now 100% I will have a main normal account video of me doing some PKing on the other side of the wilderness. You know, typically as an Ironman, I'm out here PVMing. But in that video, I play my normal account and I do some PKing myself and kind of just talk about my experience from that side of the wilderness. This is literally right after that. Well, with the Void Waker Blade acquired now, we are off to Spindle, which I'm actually not even sure which other piece that one drops. Where is Spindle? Venenatus and Spindle. It drops the gem. We have 143 KC. We don't have the pet or the treasonous ring, which, honestly, is there even a use for that ring? I don't know, but it would be nice to get just for completionist sake. Collect all the rings. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Oh, there's a scout right here. There's somebody here. I'll just hop worlds. So obviously, compared to Calvar'ion, I have not spent a lot of time at Spindle or even at Ardio. I think I have 100 KC there. So I do think these bosses slightly have more mechanics to them, but I mean, they're wilderness bosses, so they're very simple still. And I do think meleeing, I pretty much have the exact same setup here. I just swapped out the salve amulet for my amulet of Rancor, because this is not an undead thing. I think I just have to deal with these spiderlings with these darts. Seems pretty effective. And if I'm meleeing, then I just have to stay in melee range. Otherwise, there's a certain cycle with like range and mage attacks, as I did take a little chip damage there because I wasn't in melee range. Yeah, I think that's the gist of this boss. Now, this room is ginormous, so I do think if I manage to stay close to the entrance, although, you know, with the boss moving around, I guess you never know what to expect. I think we should be good on this grind. Calvar'ion, I've been told by other people, is actually one of the worst grinds. It's the spot that PKers hit the most. So maybe we'll have a much better time at these other two bosses. We'll see how long it takes to get the Void Waker gem here at Spindle. There was that one mechanic where it throws out the webs, and if we do stay in the webs, we get our stamina drained. So that's why we have to extend stamina, just in case we, you know, stand in it for a little bit too long. But other than that, we should be good to go. And our first KC, we get some gold ore. I do believe each of the bosses share a pretty similar drop table with just a few differences. For example, off the top of my head, I know Calvar'ion gave us the very juicy Renard drop. Looks like Spindle for the herb, it's gonna be grimy snapdragons. But, I mean, it drops magic logs, it drops gold ore, it drops limpwort roots. Oh, and I guess Spindle being a spider, it drops red spider eggs, 250 of them, so that's gonna be great. But most importantly, looking at the unique drop table here, the Voidwaker gem is also a 1 in 912. We just ended our first Spindle trip, and I'm looking to upgrade. I have a ton of LMS points, 333 in fact, and we're going to go ahead and purchase a Trover Parchment. Now the thing is, we're just going to purchase one for now. We might need more, I'm not too sure. But I've already been running my Inferno Cape, that is parched. We're also going to do the Avernic Defender hilt now. Or not the hilt, but the actual Defender. We've been using a Book of War, which, I don't know, what are the stats on a Book of War? +5 prayer, which is nice, I guess, and +2 melee strength. Let's see what the Defender will give us. +8 melee strength and a whole lot more attack bonuses. So yeah, we're going to be... How do you do this again? I think you use the Defender on Purdue. Oh, wait, you don't need me to lock that item? Wait, hold on. It won't vanish if you die in Deep Wilderness. That sounds good, but I'm a little scared. Okay, I'm just gonna trust that I don't need to parch my Avernic Defender. If I do end up losing it, I'm gonna be sad, but I do have backup Avernics from doing so much Theater of Blood, so we're okay. So since I purchased this Trover Parchment anyways, I'm gonna use it on the Fighter Torso. It'll cost me 500k, of course. I do have a decent amount of GP right now, so I can afford that. And let's go ahead and lock the Fighter Torso. We're going to put that on, and then we use Black D'hide just in case we actually got caught out by any PKers. We're going to wear Black D'hide chaps in place of that. Now I think we're good to go. So we are continuing to chip away at the Spindle KC. Like I said, the Calvar'ion trip was a spur-of-the-moment thing, and being that we finally got the Voidwaker blade, I'm very motivated to... well, try and get the actual Voidwaker, get this gem from Spindle, and then get the hilt from Ardio. That's the game plan. And like I said earlier, this was actually never in the original game plan. I was just going to park 416 Hero at Zeah, which actually I'm still doing. I'll keep you guys updated on that. But now I'm extra motivated to go for this Voidwaker blade, so we'll see what happens. So far, at Spindle, we're just 21 KC in, and I gotta say, I'm loving Spindle a lot more than Calvar'ion. Well, it certainly helps that I'm not 6.4x on the rate right now. I'm still under rate, and there's could be some spoonage involved here. There's the chance of that. But for some reason, I used to think Spindle was the worst, and I think maybe it's just because I didn't understand the boss, but now I have a pretty clear understanding. And when you're meleeing, it's actually very simple. And I think my previous experiences, I tried to arrange it, and that was a little bit more complicated. It required you knowing the cycle of the attacks. Ooh, I guess this is our first pretty neat drop here at Spindle. 35 Onyx Bolt Tips. That's actually worth 300k. Good bit of GP right there. Well, it's a completely different day now, and we're checking back in with 416 Hero at Zeah. We've been continuing to runecraft. We're about 60% of the way in towards 92 rune crafting, and actually more of the EXP gain has been fletching because we've been fletching every time we run from the runestone to the dark altar to the actual soul altar. A lot of fletching EXP involved. Like in just the 14 minutes I've been logged on, and keep in mind I did do a birdhouse run as well, I've already gained 21,000 fletching EXP, and you can see right here along this run, we're going to gain a ton of fletching levels. So we're 92, and when we first started doing this again, we were like just 92. But we're well on our way to 93 already with just 166k EXP to go. Mining, we are 86% of the way towards 93, so we're going to be picking up a level in... well, it's going to be a little while, but it's always nice to get a level in mining or crafting, which isn't even the primary skill. But yeah, that's going to have to do it for now. I think we're going to do a little bit of a wilderness trip since, you know, we just got the drop and I'm a bit motivated, hoping to get the Void Waker. In the meantime, I'll be continuing to do this, gaining EXP, working towards max. Obviously, that is a long-term goal here on 416 Hero.